Hi, this is Crystal, and I am off to Shambhala here on YouTube, and this is episode 14 of Reseller Shop Talk. And today I am talking about business goals for a reseller like me. Well, these are my reselling goals. Of course, if you're doing some other endeavor, maybe you might glean something from this if you're looking for information about just general goals. But I think it helps, even if your goal has absolutely nothing to do with the business that I'm in, being able to look at some specific examples might help you a little bit too, if this is something that you feel like you need to work on. Now, this right here, in the screen, what would each goal look like when finished? This is a concept that was introduced to me several years ago in order to help people actually really achieve their goals. It really helps to clarify your goals, and to have that vision of what your goal is. If you ask yourself this question when you make your goals. So, what would your goal look like when it's done, when it's completed, when you've achieved it? What does it look like? So if you haven't heard that concept and you want to stop the video now, this is probably one of the best things. Whatever kind of system you end up with or whatever, I think that this is an important question that you should ask no matter what. Okay, now, I'm trying to keep my system as simple as possible, and I'm calling it the KISS outline, which is keep it simple. And hopefully it's simple. I could talk for half an hour on it, I'm sure. But I feel like if things are too complicated, then I like complicated things, but I don't have a problem with that. But then when it comes to just getting things done, there's some things you just need to keep simple. And there's so many different factors and angles and stuff when it comes to sort of planning. And for what I'm doing, and for most people that sort of have some sort of a small work-at-home kind of business, I think in the beginning especially you want to keep it simple. And then you can sort of change it along the way and develop it. I'm more about sort of keeping things simple, writing things on pieces of paper, and then putting things in a spreadsheet, then maybe getting a program and letting things develop once you really know what you want and need and all that. Now, I did see an actual planner that I think will work with this sort of system that I have, if you want to even call it that. I'm remiss to call it a system, but and I think what I've got is kind of typical. But somebody showed me a book that they got, like a planner book that they got, and I'm like, oh, I like that. That would really work with what I have going on. Because a lot of planners, I look at them and I'm like, it has all this stuff in it that I don't need and I don't want. And but here's the thing, and she told me what that book was, and I can't remember what it's called. If I remember it, I'll try to put the information. I've got it written down somewhere. If I find it, I'll put the information down below. Or if you're interested, just ask me. I would like to order that book, but I don't have money right now. Like, I am on edge. Like, this month, my sales are down, and I've had, it's Christmas, so I spent a little more money than I should have, and my dad's in the hospital, and I've got to go out of town, and so there's all these things that are sort of more important to use even $20 on or $15 on, so I'm putting off ordering that. So that's another reason why I'm like, I'm just going to have to stick with my scratch papers. So anyways, okay, but let's talk about this. So I think the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what are my goals for the whole year? And maybe some of those goals are for other goals that are even more beyond that. But I think keeping things at 1 year is just a really great start. So I've got my goals written down, and I have 4 goals. I would recommend keeping it to 3 to 5 goals. I think, if you've got like 25 goals, it's kind of like, then it's more something else. But hey, if it works for you and you're getting them done. And also, for the big goals, you want to keep them at 1 to 2 words each. I find it really hard to keep it at 1 word. And I don't know why, somebody just suggested this to me once along the way, and I kind of like it, so that's why I recommend it. And your goals, like whatever those 3 to 5 goals are, they could be a combination of business and personal, but if you just want to focus on business, focus on business. And most of this presentation is focused on my business goals. But for my overall goals, I do have some personal in there. So this is what I've come up with. And this is just a little card that I'm putting on my calendar, and then I've got this too, like sitting on my keyboard so I can look at it often. And so for 2017, I want to double my income. So right now I'm doing an average of $2,000 a month, and by the end of 2017 I want to look back and go, I did $4,000 on a month per average. And I want to stay organized. I have a lot of things organized. I have places for things, but I'm not doing the best job of keeping everything in its place, and so I want to maintain that this year much better than I have been. And I want to improve my health immensely. And, well, I guess that's 3 words down there. Back in school. I am a college student, and I took a little time off because I had some stuff going on. Anyways, and I've already got the ball rolling on that, and I just have a couple things to do. And September I'm starting back in school. I had hoped to start January, but I messed up on my FAFSA application, my financial aid, and I accidentally put it in so that I don't actually start until September. And I can go back and start in January, but I gotta reapply, and then I'm like, well, maybe it was for the best that I don't start until next September anyway. So I'm probably just gonna wait. Well, actually, I have decided I'm just gonna wait until September. Okay, so that would be place number 1 to start. Then you want to ask yourself the question of what would each goal look like. So I asked myself that question, and this is what I came up with. I'm not necessarily keeping this one in my calendar, but like I said, I'm going to transfer this information into like an actual planner kind of a thing once I get one. So what does finish look like? So, well, for my first goal, I want the 90 days number in eBay, the summary page of eBay, to say $12,000. And if you sell on eBay, you know what I'm talking about, but basically that's going to equate to $4,000 a month in gross sales for my business. And to be organized, everything will be in its place pretty much most of the time. Or if stuff is out of its place, it's because I was working on it and maybe I got distracted, but whatever it is, it would be less than 30 minutes to have everything back in its place. Like right now, it would probably take me 2 to 3 hours to get everything in its place in my entire house. not in, well, that would be including my garage. Maybe less than 2 hours, I could have everything in its place. And then there's probably a bunch of things that I don't have a place for. And so that place for them would be the corner of a room. So I do need to find a place for some things. But yeah, I mean, right now, I think it would probably take me a good 2 hours to really have everything in whatever place it is that they're supposed to be. So that's not good. I want to maintain it only takes me 30 minutes or less. Now, also, and then I said I have, I want to improve my health. Well, I get edema in my legs and some general puffiness. And there's other things. And I have a tumor. It's not cancerous. It's a fibroid. And you can reduce these things by utilizing nutrition. And you could probably even get it to go away. And so that's what I want to do. And I at least want to give it a try because I believe that you can. And I just think that would be so much better than any other options. It's just hard to do. Because you got to do it every day and it doesn't like happen overnight, But, that if at the end of the year I could like reduce the size of my tumor by a half or even make it go away altogether, great. But if I can just get it in half, that would be amazing. And I think I can do it. And I know that when I'm eating really super healthy, clean, like vegetable fruit and vegetable-based diet, that I am way less puffy and the edema, I don't have the edema problem. And there's probably all kinds of things going on inside my body, like with my liver and my kidneys and whatever that is affecting that. It all works together. But the things that I will notice will be that edema and the tumor for sure. So that's why I've chosen that as what will improving my health look like. Okay. Was that everything? Yeah. And I'm planning on making some health videos as I'm going through all of this process. And I'll probably post them once I actually get some results. Post the videos that I make. So if that's something you're interested in, I am going to be adding those to my channel. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do is you want to create a first quarter action goal list of some sort. And you want, this is where you can get into more detail than you would like with the yearly goals, that you only want to try to keep it 2 words each. You can get more, you want to be specific. And then you want to ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this going to be effective for helping me reach my goal? So here are my first quarter sort of action-oriented goals. Well, this one is kind of, this first one, gross. I want a gross of at least $3,000 for 30-day sales, at least one 30-day period during the first quarter. Or at least by the end of March. Like, I want to look back and go, my last 30 days was $3,000 or better. And then I've got more of a specific action plan for how I'm going to make that happen in the next level of planning. But this one is kind of action-oriented. I need to get my printer and shipping station set up in my inventory room, and that is necessary and will help me be more effective and efficient, which will in turn help me make the $3,000 or, ultimately my $4,000 in gross income. The filing of the taxes is going to have to happen. And that's pretty much, or should be, everybody's first quarter goal. I mean, I guess you could get it done by second quarter, but I want to get mine done right away. Now I've got some backup bookkeeping to do, so I've got to do that, and that could take me a good 20-25 hours to complete, to get caught up and get everything together. I tend to dilly-dally a lot. I'm not super fast at it. I have a system, but I got to be realistic. I'm going to end up spending that much time on it. So I could either do it over like a 3-day period and just do nothing else but get it done, or I could work on it little by little every day. So, but that would be, whether that decision or whatever, that's going to be on the next level of action plans. So let's see, what else do I want to get done during the quarter? Okay, I need to prepare for more incoming inventory. I'm going to be increasing the amount of inventory I have. I sell a lot of clothes, and I want to just get Mac Daddy amounts of clothes, and I want to have space for them. So I've got another shelf. I need to put it together, and I need to get some boxes. That's on the minute. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. So these are just the general goals. And then also I subscribe to that GoDaddy bookkeeping system, and I have like a QuickBooks program that you actually install on your computer. And I want to really get in there and take a look at those and decide if I really actually want to use them, or say, no, I don't want to use them. And this was something I wanted to do last year, and I never got to it. But this year, so that's, those are my things that I want to get between now and March 31st, and I'm not going to add anything on to that except for little things that come up like interrupters. Okay, so what's next? So, yeah, so this is the next level. So there's 4 levels. Well, yeah, I guess there's 4 levels to this thing. I should have had another squiggly there. You've got your first year goals that you want to come up with. Then you want to come up with what each one of those yearly goals will look like when you've completed them. You've got your quarterly action goals. And be sure to ask yourself if they're really going to be effective and necessary toward reaching your goals. And then you want to create more of the task to-do list type of goals. And you can have, and this is where like a regular old planner calendar kind of thing comes in, like those day timer type things, or something online or on the computer if you like to use those already. I tend to like the regular old-fashioned planners. I'm pushing 50. I've always used those. It's just, you take them with you. I just like to be able to, I don't know, I just feel more comfortable with them. So monthly, like there might be certain things that you just need to get it done, and you can get it done over 1 hour here and another hour there, or you can get it done all at once, but it needs to be done that month or something. I'm just trying to think, what could that be? Like for me, it would be setting up the shelf. See, like here. And I've got those types of monthly things. If I can get away with doing it on the weekend, I'll do it on the weekend. Like I need to set up my shelf, so that would be something that it's going to be done all at once. It's not like I need to work on it for an hour a day for a week or something like that. However, collecting boxes would be something that I might want to do every weekend for the month of, and this is actually like a plan for the month, just the month of January. So I'm going to want to go to Costco in order to get the boxes I need for my inventory system. I'm going to need to go there once a week because it's just really hard. You can't get all the boxes all at once. Okay, yeah, I got zoomed in here. Okay, so you're going to have some stuff like that. So you want to have the monthly calendar to look at. And some things won't even be like regular, like I'm going to do this every weekend for a while. Then you might have weekly things that could be, you might have a regular weekly thing like maybe you want to make sure you clean everything up and get everything put back in place every Friday, like, and have a clean slate, whatever, like, because stuff tends to get disorganized. So that's every Friday you sweep or vacuum or whatever. And that's kind of one of my goals, is to stay organized, and it helped, you know, if I did it once a week, or do I want to do it daily? Like, that could be, do I want to do it daily or do I want to do it weekly? Those are the questions that you can only ask for yourself. But that's just an example of something that you do weekly. And so it could be a regular thing, or it could be a foundational thing. Like, on my list, I've got my setup shipping station in my inventory room. So this, I might not be able to get this in one sitting, and it's not going to be something that I'm going to need to work on much past January, if at all, or it might only, I don't know what it's really going to take, because I've got some things to work on. I might need to get a new router. I might need to get a different computer. I might need to get some sort of Wi-Fi, a new Wi-Fi receptor for my computer, because I'm having Wi-Fi issues back there, and I can't just hardwire in my inventory. I gotta rely on the Wi-Fi. But the reason I'm not set up back there now is because I can't get Wi-Fi. So I have to do all these things. And then I need to hook up the printer. So those are sort of like foundational. Like, first I gotta figure out how to even get the computer to work in the first place. So that's sort of like a foundational thing before I can get the shipping station set up. And maybe this seems a little more complicated. Like, I don't need to have this all out on paper. I just need to deal with it. But I know that I need to get this done, and I know where I need to start. But it is sort of like a foundational thing. Plus, it's a foundational thing for my whole entire goal, because if I'm able to do my shipping back in my inventory room where my shipping table is, it will really increase my efficiency, which will in turn help me be able to do things that are more geared toward making money, and money, time and money are closely related. Okay, so daily are things that must be done daily, every day, like Monday through Friday, or maybe you work 7 days a week and you've got daily things you do, whatever. But for me, I've decided I'm going to be a Monday through Friday person, and then I'll do extra things, those little extra things on the weekends, if you want to call them little. Or weekends will be, you know, time with family, or time off, or time to, those will be the times I set up the shelf, or I collect some boxes, or I set up the shipping station. Then you've also got to be prepared for interrupters. You've got to, like, have some flex time. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know how to account for that, like, because interrupters could happen at any given time. I guess I'll talk about that when I go over my list. So here's my daily plan for January. And this is probably going to continue, well, except for the books thing. This is going to continue on for the course of the year, but I do eventually want to hire somebody, like, in the second quarter, so they're going to sort of be handling this, and I actually want to be listing more than that every day once I hire somebody. But, like, I might do 10 things myself personally, and then have the person that's working for me do 30 things, or depending on how long they work for me or how efficient we can get it to be. But I guess, you know, I could probably force myself to list 30 things a day, but then I'm really not going to have any time for interrupters. I mean, it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to get 5 or 6 things listed, and that includes different aspects of, that's from the point of getting the information logged into my inventory system which isn't like a huge amount of time, but it's still, you know, all this stuff adds up, to then photographing, and then sometimes you might have to iron a thing or get a spot out or what do you call it, lint roll something. And most things I don't have to do that stuff on, but I just thought of that because I'm looking at a jacket right now that I just spent a half an hour lint rolling. But I can probably sell it for $60, so it was worth it. So, but I'm just saying, like, you know, realistically, yes, there's all kinds of people that say, I can get this many things listed in this amount of time. And it's like, well, but you've got people doing other parts of it. Like if you have somebody just doing, if you've got stuff ready for somebody and it doesn't need prep work and all they have to do is photograph it and they're doing like basic listing, but they're not, but you go in and finish the listing, you know, I'm doing everything. So I take about 5 or 6 things, sometimes 10 at once, and I complete them. And I get them in my inventory. And so it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to get something from once it comes in the door to in storage waiting to be sold. That's what it takes, and that is realistic as far as I'm concerned. Maybe I could get up to 8. Maybe I could get up to 10 in an hour to an hour and a half. Maybe I could do 10 in an hour. I have tried. I'm going to keep trying. But that's where I'm at right now. So I don't have a lot of time for interrupters. So I just have to barrel through and be like, if I have an interrupter come up, then that means I'm working till midnight, you know, to get this goal done. And that's what I have to do to make the money. And that's just what you have to do to make money. Like, there's just no getting around it. Now, and I'm not saying that it's not possible to get to the point or to be at a point where you're working real smart and you really can work for 4 hours a day to manage some kind of a business and you're leveraging other people's time maybe, where you're managing people and so you're just in there controlling, you know, you're doing the planning, organizing, delegating, and controlling. And maybe you could do that in 4 hours and have a nice business bringing in $5,000 a month. I think it's totally possible. And that actually is one of my long-term goals is to really just work like maybe 5 hours a day and really having other people doing all the work. And I can bring home $5,000 a month or more. I would be thrilled with that. Okay. So, but I need to do the work for now, and I need to figure out how to make this thing work so I can get to that point. So anyway, so these are my dailies. Let's go back up to the top. I'm sort of jumping around on this part. So like I said, I got to catch up with my bookkeeping. I'm a little behind on it, and then I got to prepare everything for taxes, and I want to have that done by the end of January technically, and then my appointment with my accountant will be in February, and then if there's some kind of issue and I got to do something different or get a piece of paper from somebody, get some kind of statement somewhere, you know, that can be handled in February, and it should be done. Usually it's no big deal, and I'll have it all ready to go far enough in advance to where if there's more things to do later in the quarter, you know, all the basic stuff is done. And then also, I do want to investigate using the GoDaddy and that other one, I didn't write it down on here, the QuickBooks, I think it is. It's either Quicken or QuickBooks. I can never remember which one I have. I need to look. But I have a program that I've been wanting to look at to see if it's something that I would like to use, and I just haven't taken the time to sit down and look at it. And so I really want to do that. That was one of my goals for last year. I never got around to it. And so I figure when I'm doing my books, then I'm going to take, and this might not be 1 hour a day for every day of January, but just until I get get a grip on whether or not I think I want to use it or not. So it could be just like an hour a day for a week or something that I'm like messing around with it and setting things up and really seeing if it's going to work. I mean, because I don't even know what it's going to do. Like, I just don't even know. So that's just going to be whatever it takes. And maybe I might even shift this one to a weekend where I just spend a Saturday and sort of barrel through it. But I don't know. I feel like with bookkeeping, it's like you have to try it every day, because as different bookkeeping scenarios pop up, then you need to go, okay, so what happens in GoDaddy when this happens? And then you look, you know. Okay, so, and part of my, what was that goal? How did I say it? Stay organized goal for the year. Just like if you had a job, at the end of the day, you clean up the kitchen, or you clean up your work area, you empty the trash, you run the broom around the room or something. You know, like at the end of the day, usually there's some sort of expectation from your boss. Everybody pitches in and does something, or somebody's doing that. Or you just clean up, you reorganize your desk, make sure files are filed and eraser babies are wiped away, whatever, you know. And I've got like 2 spaces, and like right now my floor is filthy dirty, and there's so much stuff in here because I just sourced like a grip ton of stuff. So as soon as I get done going through getting the majority of the stuff that's in my listing area listed, I am really going to clean the floor, because stuff drops on the floor and then it gets filthy dirty. But I mean, just really, you know, the floor needs to be cleaned every once in a while, you know. And again, I'm not a freak about cleaning the floor like once a week or 3 times a week or whatever, but it needs to be done like once a month at least, or every other week. And then other things, like stuff needs to be dusted off and stuff gets out of place, and you just need to stay on top of it. Otherwise, it becomes like this big mess and you can't function. And then if you have somebody else come in, you know, you need to keep things in its place, especially, like I said, one of my goals is to have people help me, and I need you have to have systems in place that everybody understands. This is where the tape goes, you know. And let's see. So, and then again, I've already talked about this. This is the number one thing. If I want to make money, I've got to, whatever. I either need to, there's 2 things I could do, and this is the one I've chosen. I can choose to just only list things that are going to bring me $50 or more in ROI. But I don't find that many things. And even if you do find something that you think could bring you $50 ROI, it doesn't mean it's going to sell overnight. Now, a lot of times I will find stuff that's like that and it does sell